Hey everybody, Jack Powers. I want to talk about the Hunter Biden trial and what's likely to happen on Monday. Here's the thing, right? We are in the midst of this trial where Hunter Biden had to sign a form when he went in to buy a handgun. And he had to check a box that said he wasn't an addict, a drug addict. So that's what it all comes down to. Was Hunter Biden a drug addict? That's kind of a subjective thing, right? It's what I would be arguing. I would be saying, Judge, this statute is void for vagueness because under the Fifth Amendment, because it doesn't identify any objective criteria for determining whether or not a person who's subject to this statute is or isn't an addict. If you're going to rely on the person themselves to say, yes, I'm an addict, or no, I'm not, they're probably going to say no in most every case. And they might even believe that. They probably do believe that. Most people that are addicts will say that they're not addicts or don't believe that they are. They think they have it under control. It's part of the sickness, part of the illness. So, yeah, I mean, you get an expert up there that you know, to go through this and to say, no, there's no objective criteria here. This statute doesn't outline anything other than a subjective belief, whether you're an addict or not. It all comes down, I think, to the person themselves, whether they believed that they were or not at that time. But there has to be some objective measurement. It can't just be based on a person's belief. I think it'll get thrown out on appeal. I think he will be convicted. I think it'll get thrown out on appeal. But here's the thing. Does Hunter Biden testify on Monday? Does he? Really? I don't think so. I don't think it's a good idea for him. If I was his lawyer, though, I would say this to him. I would say, and I did this before, with a guy in Kansas City way back in the day, 1993, I think it was. We're in a federal marshal's holding cell in Kansas City, Kansas. And it's a good, decent dude, but he's on trial for this fraud trial, and it's about these gold coins or coins that he was minting and selling. Maybe he went, sold more than what he had or something. Anyway, he wanted to know, he was in the midst of trial, and he's like, geez, I want to testify. I want to tell my side of the story, but I don't want to be cross-examined. I said, well, that's easy, man. Just have your lawyer get up there, go up and take this stand. Have your lawyer, don't have him ask any questions. Just have your lawyer state, Mr. Smith, Mr. So-and-so, I understand that you wish to make a statement to the court. You can proceed. And then the witness makes a statement from the stand. Just a soliloquy, right? And when the prosecutor jumps up to do a cross-examination, the witness says, I take the fifth. There's nothing that can be done about that. Now, that's considered to be a shenanigan in any court system because, all judges and lawyers, especially when you get, there at that level and in those boxes, every lawyer and every judge is, they're in the box. They're in the box. They're solidly in the box. And they're not going to go outside of that, not even for Hunter Biden. So, but Hunter Biden could do it himself if he wanted to. But anyway, what's the judge going to do? In the case in Kansas City, the judge allowed the defendant's statement to stand. He allowed the statement to stand because there was no direct examination. He allowed it to stand. And then, of course, if it had went the other way, I'm going to hold you in contempt or whatever. Okay, I still refuse to answer questions. All right, I'm going to hold you in contempt of court. So what? So what? You're in criminal contempt. You're going to get less than 6 months. But you're very likely to get acquitted as well. So there it is there in a nutshell. Do I think he's going to testify? No, I do not. I wouldn't advise it. I think he's going to be convicted. I don't think he will necessarily go to jail or prison. It's not, I hope not. It's not that kind of a crime. Maybe some probation or something of that nature. Probably some kind of a fine or what have you. Don't think there's any restitution. But that's going to be about it. And then, of course, it's going to go up on appeal. And the appellate court's going to have to decide whether or not that particular element of 922G of Title 18 United States Code is going to stand the test, the due process test, the void for vagueness rule. So I think it will be reversed eventually on appeal on that basis. But yeah, I think that's what happens. I don't think he testifies. I think he gets convicted. I think that it goes up on appeal, but he doesn't go to prison. And I think eventually an appellate court says, yeah, this language, it's all subjective. What do you do about that? Like, do I consider myself to be an addict? At the moment I'm checking that box, do I consider myself to be an addict at all? Does any drug addict consider themselves to be an addict? Most of them don't. So, I mean, if you're going to go with some kind of objective evidence, there it is right there. I would put an expert on. I would put an expert in drug addiction to get up there and testify that most people who are addicted don't believe that they are, and that in this period of time, there was likely a hiatus where Hunter Biden was not using the drugs and did not consider himself to be an addict, and see how that floats. You know, it's possible that it could sway the jury the other way if strong enough arguments are made during closing. But yeah, that's how I think it's going to go. So, look, freedomfirstusa.org, that's what we're doing over here. We're trying to get people involved in a grassroots movement to reform the Constitution, our charter. It needs to be rewritten. It needs to be amended. It needs to be abolished in its totality. And then we start from the ground up and build a much, much better, much stronger system. We can't keep relying on a broken system. Right now, everybody agrees all of the branches of government are broken. Look at the Supreme Court. They've lost every semblance. The Supreme Court used to be an austere institution that people respected. Now, all of that's gone. It's got like a 15% or 16% approval rating on some surveys or what have you. But I mean, just generally speaking, talking to people, nobody has any confidence in the Supreme Court. It's broken. It's a mess. They're all caught up in this corruption and graft and just, you know, it's not their fault. They're just humans. But we've got to build a better system that takes into account that you don't have the kind of independence, the kind of integrity, personal integrity that existed, you know, back when the Constitution was written and was put together. So executive branch, we know about that. That's all fucked up. Congress, people just leaving, just saying, this is so broken. Long time Congress members are just resigning and just walking off. You know, those that have integrity, they're just saying, no, this doesn't work. And it doesn't work. It's obvious. We've got all these really kind of ignorant people that are, you can see their ignorance. You can see their smallness, their pettiness of mind and spirit. And they're not real big on intellectual skills either, some of them. So, yeah, we got a serious problem, and the way to fix it is to fix our Constitution. So check it out, freedomfirstusa.org, And let's do this together. Sign up, subscribe to this channel, do whatever you can do to help. We need to get a grassroots movement going, and we need to start putting this together because it's probably going to take some years. And in the meantime, we're probably going to have a lot of weird shit going on, a lot of janky shit, a lot of dangerous shit probably going to happen. Big changes coming up. I'm Jack Powers. I'll talk to you shortly.